Hi, I'm Sue Juhl, and I teach at Schurz High School. I'm a special education teacher that teaches in the science department, specifically biology. In my heart, I'm a special education teacher, but at my core, I am a science geek. I had the pleasure this summer of working with Northwestern University to create a CT STEM unit, and using computational thinking, came up with a model for coronavirus and why it's so dangerous and what can be done to mitigate it. This unit is a little different in that, given my special education background, I've added some SEL components in this because coronavirus has its scientific place, but it also has a very emotional place right now for many people. So I wanted to make sure that we cover that with students. This is written with special education freshmen in mind, but it could work with 5th graders all the way through 10th graders or beyond. There's a beautiful computational model in here that was created. We have a number of lessons. Can a computer model inform us of safe practices during a pandemic? In this lesson, students get to program and mess around with a forest fire and exactly how a forest fire spreads and see how the computer model works. We do a little bit of research here. What is so dangerous about COVID-19? There's a storyline here about a woman named Ingrid who contracted COVID-19 and did not come in contact with anybody that specifically had symptoms or was active. What is COVID-19 and what does it do is our lesson number 3, and that's a research unit to look at the different aspects of COVID-19 and the scientific background on it. Here we have how can we create a model that explains which options are best for protection, and how can we test COVID-19 factors. So, and then we sum it all up, what can be done to mitigate the risk, and then we do a debrief at the end with a post-assessment. Throughout this unit, students are asked to share their experience with COVID-19. Everybody in the world has been affected by it. Students more so than anybody because of what happened with schooling. So to get students to share that kind of thing is quite important. There's some graphing practice in this particular lesson to make sure that students understand how graphs work and how they can get the information. This is a brief glimpse at our unit, at our NetLogo model, with a little experimentation, and we'll take a quick look at this. We set up some parameters with this particular model. Students can choose to wear a mask or social distance, do nothing at all to mitigate risk, or bring it all together and use the mask and social distancing. And what will happen is it will show students exactly what it looks like. So here we have, we're gonna move the model speed down with the slider. We've set up for a very small world size. We're going to infect a couple people. You can see that they're different colors. The yellow is a person that is asymptomatic, and the red is a person that is symptomatic. And we can go with our model and find out what happens with contagion. And you can see now that there's 2 people that are outwardly showing symptoms. We've got more carriers of COVID-19 that do not show symptoms. And this is a more realistic model as to what's happening in the world today. Students can use computational thinking to take the data that is projected onto this graph here to figure out exactly what's happening and how trend lines go up and come back down again. And in the end, they make a conclusion as to what is best practice for keeping themselves safe from COVID-19, which also empowers students to come up with a solution. So this is kind of a solution-based CT STEM unit. I really appreciate the last 4 weeks in working with Northwestern University. I'm very proud of this unit. I think that it's very usable and it has a lot of bang for what it is because you're working with a computational model, you're learning how to program, you're practicing computational thinking, and you're working on the social emotional aspect. It provides a space and a platform for a good conversation in the social emotional aspect of things, which is very important, especially given what we're going through right now. Please feel free to look around the unit, and if you have questions, you can stop by and talk to me.